This is the Sri RamanaMaharshi short song, a time to listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. Know yourself and be always free and at peace. Welcome. I'm Richard Clarke. I'm not a guru or a teacher. I love Ramana's teachings and so want to share it. I'll be reading and commenting on the Ashtavakra Gita, Chapter 5, verses 1 through 4. In these verses, Ashtavakra expresses 4 ways to dissolution. 4 ways to dissolution. Ashtavakra said, "You are immaculate, touched by nothing. What is there to renounce? The mind is complex. Let it go. Know the peace of dissolution." The universe arises from you like foam from the sea. Know yourself as one. Enter the peace of dissolution. Like an imagined snake in a rope, the universe appears to exist in the immaculate self, but does not. Seeing this, you know there is nothing to dissolve. You are perfect, changeless, through misery and happiness, hope and despair, life and death. This is the state of dissolution. So let's explore these Ashtavakra Gita verses, where Ashtavakra gives 4 ways to dissolution. Dissolution refers to the dissolution of the individual ego and the false sense of separateness from the rest of existence. It is the realization that the individual ego self, with its attachments, desires, and perceived differences, is not the ultimate reality. Instead, the ultimate truth is the oneness of all existence and the recognition of the self's inherent unity with the universal consciousness. Chapter 5, verse 1. You are immaculate, touched by nothing. What is there to renounce? The mind is complex. Let it go. Know the peace of dissolution. This verse emphasizes the inherent purity and untouchable nature of the self. It suggests that since the self is untainted and beyond worldly attachments, there is nothing external to be renounced. Instead, the complexity of the mind projecting itself as reality into the world that should be released to experience the true peace. This verse tells you the importance of recognizing the self's innate purity and the futility of external renunciation. Spiritual practice is within yourself, so externals don't matter. It guides you towards inner peace through knowledge of your inherent perfection. 5.2. The universe arises from you like foam from the sea. Know yourself as one. Enter the peace of dissolution. This verse conveys that the universe is a manifestation of the self, much like foam on the sea. The ocean is one. The foam comes and goes. It encourages you to realize the oneness of yourself and all existence, which leads to a state of dissolution, where individual separateness fades away. This verse highlights the unity of all creation with the self. Understanding this oneness helps dissolve the ego and individual identity, fostering a profound sense of peace and unity. 5.3. Like an imagined snake in a rope, the universe appears to exist in the immaculate self, but does not. Seeing this, you know there is nothing to dissolve. The verse uses the metaphor of an imagined snake in a rope to illustrate the illusory nature of the universe. The rope is not a snake. It just looked like, appeared to be, a snake until I knew it better. It suggests that the universe is an appearance. It seems to exist within the pure self, but in reality, it does not. There is only the self. It's just an appearance, revealing that there is no dissolution needed. This verse teaches the illusory nature of worldly experiences. This really matters since you naturally hold on to what you think is real. By understanding that the perceived universe is an appearance, a mere illusion, you can realize the true nature of the self and that there is not, in reality, any separateness to dissolve. 5.4. You are perfect, changeless. Through misery and happiness, hope and despair, life and death. This is the state of dissolution. This verse declares that you, the self, are perfect and unchanging, regardless of what appears. The dualities of life, such as misery and happiness, hope and despair, life and death. Dissolution is recognizing this unchanging perfection that you are amidst life's fluctuations. This verse emphasizes the constancy and perfection of the true self, unaffected by life's ups and downs. Realizing this helps you maintain equanimity and a sense of peace, seeing beyond temporary conditions. This chapter of the Ashtavakra Gita emphasizes the inherent purity and oneness of the self and the illusory nature of the universe. It guides you towards inner peace and equanimity by recognizing the unchanging and perfect nature of the self, yourself, beyond life's dualities. And now, a video from Nome, only one self.
The self is of the nature of indivisible Satchidananda, being, consciousness, bliss. The self is only one, as existence itself is indivisible. If existence is only one, who could stand apart from it to be ignorant of it? Thus Sri Bhagavan declares that all are only the self, and all only experience the self ever. Being is bodiless, and hence undifferentiated. Being bodiless, it is unborn and imperishable. Infinite and eternal. This is your very existence, your very being. Do you imagine yourself to be otherwise? How could there be a second existence? Consciousness is infinite and self-luminous. It is self-knowing. Who could stand apart from it to be ignorant of it? The idea that there is a second knower, other than the one illimitable consciousness, should be thoroughly inquired into. Is there a second knower, a mind? Is there a second existence, an I? Where there is utter non-duality, no differentiation, there is no alternative, and bliss reposes in itself. Not being a body, the attributes, conditions, activities, and such of the body do not pertain to you. You ever remain as always unmodified being consciousness. Not being an object of perception or conception. You always remain beyond the domain of thought. If you are not anything sensorially perceptible or mentally conceivable, what are you? The self is undoubtedly one. Division and multiplicity are products of imagination. Such imagination is called ignorance. Who is there to be ignorant of the self? The ignorance and the one who is ignorant are the same supposition, the same unexamined assumption, and do not have a reality of their own. To think that I know the self is redundant, for being consciousness bliss knows itself with innate knowledge. To think I do not know the self is utterly false. Who would think of either? The self is only one. You cannot be both an embodied individual and the self. So, who in truth are you? Brahman can be only Brahman, and never otherwise. If it were otherwise, it would be destructible. But such is not Brahman, the eternal, the infinite. Regarding Brahman and oneself, the Chandogya Upanishad says, Tattvamasi, that you are. If we are that, who is to be ignorant? Without ignorance, there is no false appearance of bondage. And without bondage, there is no unhappiness, no suffering. With non-objective knowledge, realize the self. The realizer is himself what is realized. The inquiry into the very nature of the inquirer reveals it. Dive deep, inquiring, who am I? Being consciousness bliss, indivisible, eyeless, thisless, mind-free and worldless. This, the real self, is the only self that you are. The only reality that there is. All else, even the very idea of all else, is but imagination, which too is not apart from the self. Inquire within and discern what is being indicated.
And now, let's inquire within for ourselves. You exist. Notice that you exist. You exist, and you know that you exist. Inquire within yourself. Investigate. Let go of the complex mind and just be here, now. feel the universe as a manifestation of myself. Know this. How can I see through the illusions of the material world? What is real? What is transient? What within me is always the unchanging self amidst life's changes. Who am I? What am I? What is the nature of my existence? All right. And let's close with our chant. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Well, I'm still enjoying Ashtavakra.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing.
And Nome, he knows what to say for each verse.
Right. Right.
Indeed.
And then the self-attention, the inquiry at the end is wonderful.
Very good. It's a good time.
Yeah. Feels like, who am I? Are the stones you tie around yourself to go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Anyway, good inquiry, and namaste, and we'll see you next week.
Namaste.
Good to be
Thank
together.
you.
In 40 verses on reality, Ramana Maharshi explains the nature of the self, the ultimate reality, and self-inquiry. My new book, with my comments and inquiry questions, opens these teachings up and brings them into your practice and experience. Available now from Amazon. Link in the video description. These videos bring Ramana's teachings into your direct experience. Click subscribe to see more. Click thumbs up to like, and send questions and start a dialogue with a comment.